In short, now heaven knows, anything goes.
Wait, hold on. Anything goes? Isn't that what's been happening right here in America for some time now? So, how does that make you feel? After all, our country is a land of laws framed by our Constitution, is it not? So, you might be asking, what can I do? Well, welcome to COS Indiana Live, where we'll be discussing how to use the Constitution to save the Constitution. Our vision is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Our mission statement is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So, if you've had enough of anything goes, join us every Monday at 7 p.m. as our state director and host, Dale Parrish, will show you how we can actually make a difference by using the Constitution to save the Constitution and our country. And without any further ado, here's Dale.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Maringo Mike, for that introduction. As Maringo Mike said, my name is Dale Parrish. I am the State Director for Convention of States here in Indiana, and I want to welcome you to our broadcast here. We have a great broadcast lined up for you tonight. We always have a great broadcast. I like to say that prior to every broadcast. I also want to mention again now to everyone that once again we are live streaming the broadcast to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So you now have another alternative to view the broadcast by going to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So please make note of that. Live streaming to YouTube now. I want to quickly go over the different segments of the broadcast tonight so you'll know what to expect. The first segment will be our interview segment, and I always like to bring on individuals from our leadership group so that I can introduce them to you, tell you what they do, what their job duties are, and so you get to know them. So tonight we have another one of our new district captains. I'll tell you, folks, we have just, since the first of the year, we have just had an onslaught of new supporters come into Convention of States here in Indiana. And fortunately, we've had many of them also volunteer for various positions. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that as toward the end of the broadcast. But we've been experiencing a flood of new individuals wanting to be district captains, and being a district captain is a very, very important role in our organization. So I'm going to make every effort to bring on as many new district captains as I can, as well as other new individuals and other volunteer positions that we have here in our organization, but especially our district captains, because they're very, very key in what we're trying to do. So tonight we have another one of our new district captains. It will be in our interview segment. His name is Philip Waldorf. He's the new district captain for Indiana District 83. So we'll be bringing Phil on very shortly. You'll get to meet him and understand what he's trying to accomplish. Now, the second segment of the broadcast will be what I call the information segment. I'll bring up my PowerPoint, share with you a few things about our organization here in Indiana, a few numbers, just give you some general information. Now, in the third segment, we'll recognize any viewer comments. So if you are viewing this evening and you have a question or a comment to make, feel free to do that in the chat section. I'll make every effort to get on as best I can. Keep the questions or comments very brief, as I'm limited to the number of characters that I can put up on the screen. Now, in the fourth segment is a new segment I call contributors. Now, these are individuals in our leadership that we've designated as contributors, COS Indiana Live contributors. And we've asked them to give us short 1 to 2 minute, little video clips about maybe something on their mind or some topic that they want to address. So tonight we have one of our contributors, and I wanted to bring up a picture of his here it is, John's journal. Now this is John Ackerman, John Ackerman, and John has entitled his contribution or contributor segment as John's journal. I think you're going to find John has some very, very interesting comments to make. So we're going to bring him up this evening and let him speak in this particular segment of the contributor segment, and it'll be John's journal. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. And on every broadcast, I'm hoping to have a different contributor submitting, making a contribution to us, and so hopefully we'll have a different one on each broadcast. Now, the last segment of our broadcast is what I call the invitation segment. In this segment, we're going to give you some information, more information about what Convention of States is all about, and then invite you to join us here in Convention of States in Indiana. You are the target audience. That's residents of Indiana that are not part of our organization as yet, as well as anyone living outside the borders of Indiana. Everyone's welcome, but we're always trying to bring in new supporters and growing the grassroots. So I'm going to invite you to join, tell you how to go about doing that tonight. So that'll be in the final segment. Then also we'll wrap up in this final segment, and actually we'll tell you what's on tap for next Monday evening. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be another new district captain. So I'll provide that information to you in the final segment here. All right. Well, without further ado, then I would like to bring our guest up this evening. And let me find him. He should be still in the lobby, hopefully. Hopefully he hasn't gone away. So let me bring up Phil. And there's Phil.
Hi, Dale.
Hi, Phil. Welcome to the broadcast, Phil. Glad to have you this evening. Philip Waldorf is our new district captain, and let me bring up, give you his name, Philip Waldorf. So Philip is the new district captain in House District 83. Now we got a map here that we're going to bring up, and I'm going to speak at it, because when I bring this map up, we've discovered that Phil can't hear us, so, and we can't hear him. So we'll be right back to you, Phil. Don't go away. Okay. I wanted to give everyone is our new district captain. And can you hear us now, Phil?
I can.
Okay. Well, I promise you I didn't say anything bad about you. I just wanted to give everybody an idea of where your district is located. So, Phil, as I mentioned to you before, whenever we bring on a a leadership individual with Convention of States, we always ask them to tell us their Convention of States story, the how, when, and where they got involved in Convention of States. So, Phil, tell us your COS story.
Okay. For a long time, I've always been interested in government, um, really going back to high school. But especially in the last, I'd say 8 to 10 years, I've really been getting into a lot of government and what's been going on. I honestly never knew where to go to help out or anything like that. Since I'd never really done it, I didn't know the avenues you were supposed to go down. I happened to be watching a video of Sean Hannity um, back in November, and up popped an ad for COS. So I thought, okay, I'll kind of see what this is, since usually anything that pops up during Sean Hannity or any of the conservative talk hosts usually would have something in line with my political beliefs. So I popped up COS, took a look at it, really liked what I saw, and it was nice because it broke down exactly how you can help out. Whereas a lot of these different groups, you really have no idea going into it. So I liked what I saw. I signed the petition, said that I'd like to volunteer and help out where I could. Told whoever got to see that right off that I was interested in doing a district captain position, and luckily that's how it came down. And starting in November, I began in that position.
All right. Good deal. And I can tell you, Philip's been going through our training program. We have a very good training program for new district captains, and he's been shooting right through it, doing a very good job at getting it done. Philip, I got a comment here from one of our other leadership individuals that when I put the map up, that that my audio was also lost. So
Okay.
so no one could hear us. But anyway, hopefully everyone. Let me see if I can get that back up here. And I don't know what's going to happen here. Hopefully they can hear us. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
You can
Yes.
hear. So I'm assuming everyone can hear us now. We'll just talk about it here. The map is much smaller, but what I wanted to show, you're right here on the edge of Fort Wayne, right? Where
Correct.
right down
The
in
the southwest portion of Fort Wayne. Yes.
Okay, but your district extends out to Columbia City, South Whitley.
Really, all the way over to Larwell,
Does
which
it? Okay.
is right on 5,
All right.
and it extends north to like the Tri Lakes area.
Okay.
So those are really going to be the main towns in that area that we serve.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Well, I'm glad that was pointed out to us. So we'll give it another try here to let everyone know the district that you cover. So I might mention to everyone that we have been looking for a district captain for this district for a long time. And so we are very happy to have Phil on board and to take on this district. So thank you very much for stepping up and taking that, Phil.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Well, Phil, let's talk about some objectives that you have for your district, things that you wanted to try and accomplish. And I know, as with everything anymore right now, COVID has played a role in this. Am I right?
Exactly. It makes it very difficult to do what we would normally do with convention estates, going out meeting people door to door. Just a lot of that stuff isn't happening anymore. What I've been doing is using Facebook a little bit, putting my business card on Facebook and sending out links to the petition to try and get people to sign up that way of people that I know. Um, we normally like to work a lot of tables at different events. I've been checking into Fort Wayne. There's a few things coming up, but honestly, a lot of these event centers don't want to nail anything down just because they don't know what's going to be coming up with the COVID situation. I've looked into Columbia City, looked into Larwell. Since they are smaller communities, their calendars are pretty bare as well.
Yeah.
Just haven't a lot of stuff that might be happening. I know that Columbia City has like a 4-H fair that's going to be coming up that could be a good possibility. There are also some different areas like Harley Davidson shops. There's a motorsport shop in Columbia City that deals with a lot of different people. So even sometimes a lot of those places will have an event that they put on just on their own that isn't really necessarily open to the public unless you happen to work with that particular company. So even if we can get into there, just getting one petition is a coup, really. So
Yeah, and now Phil will experience this when these events start cranking back up. But what we like to do at events like he's mentioning, like fairs or shows or whatever, is we put an information table out, and we provide literature, and as well as, of course, talking to people about convention estates, and hopefully get individuals to sign the petition and join us. So yes, hopefully this is going to get better this year, better than last year. It was really everything was completely shut down this past year. Now, Phil, you mentioned education. I know that was another one of your objectives. You want to talk about some of your plans there?
sure, absolutely. I know it's been mentioned before on COS Indiana Live that it just seems that a lot of this generation, even some of the older generation, just really doesn't understand the Constitution and how it was set up, how we really follow it. And I know one of the other district captains that just started even mentioned last week that sometimes even our representatives don't quite understand how the Constitution is. So what I've been doing personally is going to a lot of different sites. There's a few of them that I use. Hillsdale Online is a great place. They have a lot of free online courses.
Yes.
Wonderful information from them. I just finished up Constitution 101, and it just gave me a wealth of knowledge. I understood how the Constitution worked, but just getting so more in depth, it opens up a lot more. Bill of Rights Institute is another one that offers some good stuff to follow up on, as well as COS University, our own university. It's absolutely wonderful. Even if you're not going to be taking on a position of leadership, just as somebody that's interested in learning more, I would say please go in and take a look at that and look at some of the videos and just try and get as much as you can information wise.
Okay. Now you mentioned also something you'd like to do would be to have monthly meetings.
Correct. Last month, Vicki Mooring is one of the leaders with COS Indiana. She organized a little meeting for us, and we're going to be doing it once a month, where we can get some of the area district captains together, just try to talk through what's going on in their area, see if we can help one another out, do some brainstorming. Maybe somebody heard of an area where we could set a table up that some of the other district captains could help out with. So I know our next meeting is going to be coming up on the 6th. And at that time, after that meeting, we'll set up the next one for April, and we're just going to continue to do that to try and build our group up and see what we can do.
Okay. All right. That all sounds very good. Sounds like we're getting a little echo here, it seems like.
Okay.
But anyway, very good, Phil. Those are some great objectives. Now, and Phil, we haven't spoken about this particularly, but one of the other duties of the district captain is to make contact and establish a relationship with your state legislators. state representative and your state senator. So I think if my memory serves me right, you've got legislators that are supportive. So
Yes.
I think I think you're going to have an easy task there. But that's why the district captain position is so key in our organization, because you are the face of convention of states for your district, not only to the people in your district, but to the your state legislators, your state representative and state senator. So I just thought I would go ahead and mention that to you. And
Sure, if I could throw something in too. You know, a lot of people think that since Indiana is already in the group with COS, that there's not a lot to do. But as we saw in this last round, there was some talk between some of the representatives of pushing Indiana back out of COS. So there was still some work that had to be done to fight to keep us in there. So, you know, we get turnover with a lot of representatives, and some of these representatives may not be completely on board, and or hear some fringe talk that this isn't a good organization to be a part of, and they want to kind of kick us to the side. So yeah, we have to keep fighting no matter what. We can't let up.
all right, good. I like to end things on a note of self-governance. And I know you've got an excellent example of self-governance from your family. So
Yes.
you want to tell us about that?
Certainly. Actually, it began with me in high school. I would go down to Indianapolis and serve as a page for my senator. And it was nice. I was able to extend that to my children. My daughter, when she became of age, as well as my son, when he became of age to serve as a page, both of them would go down and work with Senator Long, get to see how the whole process worked, got to pass bills around to other senators and get a lot of things working. So they really saw firsthand how our government worked in the state. And it was nice because it enriched them so much that they wanted to keep going down year after year to do it over and over again. And I always try to encourage parents and other kids that age, when you turn 16, do it. You know, it's, if anything, it gets you out of a day of school, and it's, you know, it's, you don't get docked for it. So, but to go down and to learn firsthand and work with the senators, it's just a great experience.
All right, excellent experience. Well, I had one comment here that I wanted to show. There, you know who this individual is, George
I
Ward.
do.
He's
He was my first connection into COS.
he's generally the first person that people talk to. And he commented he appreciated Philip's help manning tables at gun shows. So you worked one of our gun shows.
I did. It was kind of trial by fire. Right after I signed up with COS, they had a gun show up at Shipshawana, and I said, "Sure, I'll come up and work it, so I could see how to do it." And we had a great time. Got to speak to a lot of great people. We're able to collect a lot of petitions, and it was a really great time up there.
All right, excellent. Love to see.
Thanks,
people,
George.
I love to see people step forward and want to get involved. So good show, Phil. Well, Phil, that's it for this evening. And I want to once again thank you for coming on. And once again, best of luck on being a new district captain with us. I'm sure you're going to be very, very successful. So
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on, Phil. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Have a good night.
All right, Phil Waldorf. I think Phil's going to be an excellent district captain for us. Really interested. Really looking for Phil to really make a great contribution. Well, I want to now get into our information segment. And in order to do that, I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint. So bear with me here as I get it located here. So where's my PowerPoint? Huh. Well, that's great. I've lost my PowerPoint here. Well, folks, I think you're going to be able to let me see. Hold on here, folks. Let me see here if I can bring that up. Sorry to do this. There we go. There we go. I don't know what happened to it, but let me give you the full screen view here so that you get a good view of what I'm talking about here. All right. Well, our national vision statement, as well, and this is also the Indiana vision statement, is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Now, our mission statement for Indiana is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. Now, we have some specific objectives here in Indiana that we're trying to accomplish. Now, we have right now just in excess of 55,000 supporters here in Indiana. Our goal for 2021 is to get to 70,000. We want to get some younger people involved, some people under the age of 30. We want to grow from 4 region captains to 7. We have 9 total regions here in Indiana. We have 4 region captains right now. We want to grow to 7. We want to grow to 40 district captains like Phil. We want more like Phil. And we're now at about 27, I believe, is the last count. So we should be able to get this 40 goal without any problem. We want to develop and implement a call to action program. Now, this has to do with legislation. I'm going to mention that a little later on, as well as the education program. I'll be mentioning that later on as well. But those are the objectives that we want to try and accomplish here in Indiana in 2021. Resources that we have available. The main website that we utilize a great deal, you'll hear us make reference to that a great deal, conventionofstates.com. And embedded in the national website is our state webpage, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. We're on Facebook. That's our major social media platform. Matter of fact, this broadcast is coming to you through our state Facebook page, Convention of States, Indiana. YouTube channel. As you know, we're live streaming to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Very much an educational resource. We have narrated PowerPoints on there. We have recordings of our broadcast. We have links to a podcast that our legislative liaison Paul Phillips does called the Free to Be Free podcast. So I'm sure you'll enjoy those. They're very, very good, I might mention. We're on Parler. Parler's back up now. I'm on there at D.O. Parrish. We're on Instagram, Twitter, looking at getting on MeWe and Rumble, a couple other social media platforms. State newsletter. I always like to mention that this is a monthly publication that we get out. Once you become a supporter and you opt in to receiving emails, then you will receive our state newsletter each month. And I tell you, our folks are doing a great job on this newsletter. Very, very good job. So those are some resources that we have available. Some upcoming things. Legislation. There are 3 pieces of legislation that we have now received national approval on. We had to get approval from Convention of States nationally. 3 pieces of legislation that we're going to be supporting, and you're going to hear more about these. It's House Bill 1123, Disaster Emergencies, House Bill 1369, has to do with firearms, and House Bill 1384 has to do with civics education. So we now have approval, so you're going to be hearing more about us, and we're going to get you as supporters involved in supporting these pieces of legislation. I also want to announce that we have a virtual roundtable meeting. This will be a virtual COS Indiana roundtable meeting utilizing Zoom, and it will also be live streamed to our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. This is coming up March 28th at 7 p.m. You'll be hearing more and more about this. We're still developing the agenda, hoping to have some legislators involved, and also we'll be talking about education and presenting some educational knowledge to everyone. So that is coming up then on March 28th. Next broadcast will be March 8th. Next Monday evening. We broadcast every Monday evening at 7 p.m. And we're going to have a new district captain. Dale Tipton will be our guest that evening. And Dale is the new district captain for Indiana House District number 9. So be sure to tune in for another one of our great new district captains. All right, let me hide that. And let me go through here and see some other comments that we got this evening. Here's from Christopher Custer. Good evening, everyone. Chris, glad you could join us this evening. And our friend George Ward again. George is our grassroots coordinator, and like I said, George is one of the first people that new supporters talk to about Convention of States. So George does a terrific job for us. Here is another new district captain, James Romack. I know him as Patrick Romack. I'll have to find out which name he goes by. But Mr. Romack is another one of our new district captains. I see a Debbie. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, Debbie. It's Maley or it's Mel. I'm not sure. But she is saying hello, Indiana, from the Tipton area. So we're glad to have you this evening. And Debbie says she would like to go ahead and become a district captain. Excellent, excellent, Debbie. You hang on. I'm going to tell you how to do that later on in the broadcast. You hang on. Okay. See if we got any other. Okay. All right, and Kimberly, we will, if you go to the convention, Kimberly's asking, hi, who is the leader for Hamilton County? If you go to the website, conventionofstates.com, and click on the leaders section, you should be able to find an individual that is located, be it a district captain or a region captain, that should be able to be someone that you can contact for Hamilton County. All right. And George, if you're watching still, you might want to make note of Kimberly's name. Maybe you can follow up with her and help her along the way there. Okay, let's see who else we have here. All right, I think that is those are all the viewer comments that we're going to be making, showing this evening. So now comes the segment called the viewer segment, or excuse me, the contributor segment. And let me see if I can find, I hope I haven't deleted it. You know what? I think I've deleted it. So I'm mistakenly deleted it, of course. Let me see if well, I don't know where everything has gone. So okay, we will skip John's journal this evening, and I want to go on now to the final segment, which is the invitation segment. And I see that apparently, folks, I've deleted some things this evening. So here's what I wanted to tell you about in the invitation segment. Convention of States. What we're all about is that we believe, we advocate for calling a convention of states according to Article 5 of the Constitution. See, Article 5 describes the ways that the U.S. Constitution can be amended. And in Article 5, there are two ways to amend the Constitution. One way is for 2/3 of Congress to propose an amendment, and then any proposed amendment then would have to be ratified by 3/4 of the states, which would be 38 states, before that proposed amendment can become an amendment to the Constitution. Well, there's a second method described in Article 5, and that's whereby 2/3 of the state legislatures, which would be 34 states, can call a convention of states, a gathering of states to propose amendments to the Constitution. And this process bypasses Congress, bypasses the president. So any proposed amendments, though, that would come out of that convention of states would then have to go through the same ratification process as the first method, whereby 3/4 of the states, or 38 states, would have to ratify any proposed amendment that comes out of that convention. This is what we're trying to get accomplished. This has never been done. Now, there have been plenty of convention of states held to address various problems, but there's never been an Article 5 convention of states. So we're going to make history when we get this done, okay? Now, in this convention, we want 3 areas addressed. We want the national debt addressed. We want curtailing the breadth and control of the federal government. And we want to implement term limits for Congress, as well as the federal judiciary. So those are the areas that we want to see a convention of states held to address. Now, and we obviously also want to see this convention of states to be an annual thing. So we're not proposing and trying to get just one convention of states held. We want this to be a permanent fixture in our government. So that's basically, folks, that's what convention of states is all about. Now, in addition to that, we're very, very involved in self-governance. And if you remember when we talked with Phil in our interview with Phil in the first segment, we touched upon self-governance. Self-governance is very, very important to us. And I just lost my background. So we want people to be involved in, oh boy, I'm sorry, folks. There, we got my background together. Okay, sorry about that. So self-governance is very, very important to us. So we encourage all of our leadership individuals to be involved, and as well as our supporters, to be involved in your state, city, local community. Be involved in the government of your home and the area that you live in. That's all part of self-governance. Now, if you want to join us here in Indiana in Convention of States, go to that main website, conventionofstates.com, and open an account, sign the petition, and that makes you a supporter. And that's a very, very important step. You become a supporter. Now, if you want to get further involved, at that website, click on the menu selection, Take Action. Scroll down to where it says Become a Leader and look at the different volunteer positions that we have available. If there's one of interest to you, open it up, read about it. If you're very interested, go ahead and make application. You're not obligated in any way, so you don't have to worry about that. Go ahead and make application. By doing that, then your name comes up on a report that George sees, as well as a few others. And one of us then will be in contact with you to further discuss that position with you. Once again, you're not obligated in any way. Now, when you look at these different positions, keep in mind and make note of the estimated time involved in those positions, because there's a time commitment involved, and some of them require very little time. Others are going to require more time. So you want to make note of that. So once again, you go to the main website, conventionestates.com, open an account, become a supporter. If you want to get involved, click on the menu selection, take action, take a look at the different volunteer positions that we have available. So hopefully we'll get to see you and talk to you and get to know you better. And like I said, this has never been done, folks, having a convention of states. So we're going to make history. So we would love to have you come along with us and make history here in Indiana. So with that, I'm going to say good night. Look forward to seeing you again next Monday evening. And hopefully I won't have deleted so many things, and be able to provide you some visuals a little bit better than this evening. So have a good evening, everyone. Good night.